Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the biggest breakthroughs in my life didn't come from adding more, but from removing almost everything? I'm serious. The life you're living today could completely transform. Not by gaining more, but by subtracting, and by the end of this message, I will give you the two most powerful rules. Rules 9 and 10. They are non-negotiable, and if you miss them, you will miss the secret I've never shared publicly before. But listen carefully. You cannot skip ahead. Every single rule connects. Think of it like building a rocket. You can't attach the engine before the foundation is secure. If you skip, you won't understand, and you'll miss the full power of the transformation. So let's begin. Before I share the first rule, tell me this in the comments. What city are you listening from right now? I want to see seniors from across this country and across the world speaking up, because this message is for everyone. Let's see just how far it can reach. And if you value the knowledge and clarity I share here, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the bell notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of my messages. Because this is not just about me. This is about you. And it's about the changes you've been waiting to make for years. Changes that could finally give you peace, clarity, and focus. Rule number 1, own less and live more. The very first minimalist rule that changed my life is this: own less, live more. Now you've heard people say less is more, but let me tell you why this goes far deeper than a catchy phrase. I want you to imagine walking into a room filled with clutter, old newspapers stacked high, clothes you haven't worn in 20 years, drawers that won't even close. How do you feel standing there? Heavy, suffocated, stressed. Now imagine walking into a room with just what you need: clean air, space, a chair, a table, a single lamp, a book you love. Suddenly you breathe differently, don't you? Your mind clears, your heart feels lighter. This is not about deprivation, this is about freedom. Every single item you own takes energy to manage, store, clean, and worry about. Most people don't realize that their belongings are quietly stealing hours, days, even years from their lives. So the first rule is simple: get rid of what does not serve you. I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, if my house caught fire and I had only 10 minutes to save what truly mattered, what would I take? Comment below with your answer. You'll be surprised how little you actually value compared to what you own. And that right there is the beginning of minimalist wisdom. Even the Bible reminds us not to store treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy. When you free yourself from the endless cycle of buying and keeping, you create space for God, for family, and for what genuinely matters. If you want to make this rule practical, I recommend starting with one drawer, one closet, one box. And here's something that helps. Use the 31-day daily high-impact planner. Don't just keep it in your head. Each day, write down one small area to clear. By the end of a month, you will be shocked at how light you feel. Not just in your home, but in your mind. Now I know what some of you are thinking. I've lived this way my whole life. I have decades of things. It's impossible. But listen to me. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. When you begin removing the unnecessary, you unlock energy you didn't know you had. That is why this is the very first rule. But it's only the beginning. Because the next two rules I'm about to share with you, rules 2 and 3, will show you how to guard your time and energy like your life depends on it. And without them, you will fall back into the same traps. So don't skip. Every rule connects. Remember, the 9th and 10th are the most powerful, but you'll never be ready for them if you don't understand the foundation. I want you to sit with this thought. What is one thing I can remove today that will make me lighter tomorrow? Write it down. Share it in the comments. Because transformation begins with a single choice. Let me ask you something personal. If tomorrow you woke up and your calendar was completely clear, no phone calls, no endless obligations, no noise, what would you actually do with your time? Think about it. Most people can't even answer this question, because their days have been stolen piece by other people's demands. And that brings me to the second rule that changed my life. But listen, do not miss this, because if rule number 1 freed your space, then rule number 2 and rule number 3 will free your time and focus. And without them, your life will keep slipping away in ways you won't even notice until it's too late. Rule number 2, guard your time like it's life itself. Time is the one thing you cannot buy back. Not with money, not with influence, not with technology. Once it's gone, it's gone. Here's the truth. Most people don't lose life in one big moment. They lose it in thousands of little ones. 10 minutes wasted here, an hour wasted there. Years given away to distractions and obligations that never truly mattered. I want you to hear me clearly. Every yes you give is a no to something else. So here's what I want you to do. Think of the last. How many hours did you spend on things that genuinely moved your life forward? Brought you peace, health, love, or progress? And how many hours did you simply give away? Comment below. Be honest. If you feel brave, write the number. Some of you might type too many, some might type 0. And that honesty, that's the beginning of change. Let's make this interactive. If you believe your time is your most valuable resource, I want you to type the word time in the comments right now. Let's see how many of us agree that guarding our time is guarding our life. Because here's the secret. People will treat your time the way you allow them to. If you give it away cheaply, they'll take it without thought. But if you value it, others will begin to respect it. Rule number 3. Focus on one thing at a time. Now this is where most people struggle. Rule number 3 is simple, but it is the hardest to live. Focus on one thing at a time. We live in an age of constant noise. Notifications, screens, distractions everywhere. People pride themselves on multitasking. But the reality, multitasking is the fastest path to mediocrity. When you try to do 10 things at once, you succeed at none. When you do one thing with full attention, you create excellence. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine in America used to complain that he never had time to finish reading the Bible. He wanted peace, wisdom, and guidance, but the book just sat there collecting dust. One day I asked him, what if you read just one page every morning before touching your phone? He did. Within 6 months, not only had he finished the book, but his entire mindset changed. His relationships improved, his decisions sharpened, and he felt closer to God than ever before. Why? Because he stopped scattering his focus. That is the power of one thing at a time. Now let me ask you, what is the one thing you've been postponing for years because you kept trying to juggle everything else? Is it your health, your family, writing that book, fixing that relationship? Write it in the comments. Just one word. Health, family, book, whatever it is. And when you type it, you're not just writing a comment. You're making a public declaration of what matters most to you. And here's where the 31-day daily high-impact planner becomes powerful. Use it to write down one single focus for each day. Just one. Imagine the transformation after 31 days of laser focus. You would finally break the cycle of distraction and move toward what truly matters. But let me warn you, these first 3 rules are just the foundation. Clearing your space, guarding your time, and focusing your attention are only the beginning. Because the deeper truths I will share with you later, especially rules number 9 and number 10, are non-negotiable. They are the reason I live the way I live, the reason I am able to accomplish what looks impossible, and the reason why many people never reach their potential. If you skip ahead, you will not understand them, but if you stay with me, they will change your life forever. So here's what I want you to do. Write down one thing you will no longer waste time on and one thing you will focus on tomorrow. That's it, and share it below. I want to see your answers, because when you begin living these rules, you are not just copying me, you are reclaiming your own. And the next rules I will reveal, rules 4 and 5, will show you how to master something even more dangerous than wasted time. The constant noise of people's opinions and expectations. Let me warn you, the greatest thief of your joy is not always time or clutter. It's the weight of people's expectations. If you don't master this, every other rule will collapse. You will live someone else's life and the years will vanish. This is why rule number 4 and rule number 5 are critical. And if you don't apply them, you may never truly live. Rule number 4. Silence the noise of opinions. How many times in your life have you stopped yourself from doing something you knew was right, just because you were afraid of what others might think? Think back. Maybe it was starting a project, maybe it was speaking your truth, maybe it was even praying openly in front of your family. The truth is, other people's opinions are one of the most expensive distractions in the world. They don't just waste your time, they steal your courage. Here's something I've observed. People who talk the loudest about your choices are often the ones who regret not making bold choices themselves. They project their fear onto you, and if you accept it, you inherit their limitations. Let me ask you this, and I want you to answer honestly in the comment. Whose opinion has held you back the most in your life? Was it a parent, a spouse, a boss, or maybe your own inner critic? Write it below. You are not alone, and sometimes just naming it is the beginning of freedom. Type the word free in the comments, if you're ready to release yourself from those opinions. Think about this. When you stand before God at the end of your life, no one else's opinion will matter. Only what you did with the gifts you were given. That truth alone should silence the noise forever. Rule number 5. Live by principles, not by pressure. This rule ties directly to the last one. It's not enough to silence opinions. You need something stronger to replace them. And that something is principle. When you live by principles, decisions become clear. Pressure no longer bends you. Temptation loses its grip. Let me give you an example. One American businessman I once spoke with told me he never made a financial decision on Sunday. Why? Because Sunday was for God and family. That was his principle. And because of that, no deal, no matter how urgent or profitable, could shake him. When you have principles, you don't live reactive lives. You live anchored lives. Now here's the warning. If you do not choose your principles, the world will choose them for you. Advertisers, politicians, media, they all have an agenda. And if you do not have your own anchor, you will drift wherever the current pushes you. So here's my question for you. What principle has guided you most in your life? Write it in the comment. If you don't have one yet, this is your chance to decide. And if you're willing, type the word anchor in the comments to declare that you will live by principles, not pressure. This is where your 31-day daily high-impact planner becomes essential. Again, don't just use it for tasks. Use it for values. Write down your principles, one per week. Imagine what happens after 31 days of anchoring your life in values that matter. You'll no longer be tossed around by the noise of the world. Now let me tell you why these 2 rules are so dangerous to ignore. If you don't silence opinions, and if you don't live by principles, then even the rules I'll reveal later, including rules number 9 and number 10, the most powerful and non-negotiable rules I've ever discovered, will never work for you. Because without courage and anchor, you will always fall back into fear and pressure. And I don't want that for you. Tonight I want you to reflect. Whose opinion have you been carrying that you no longer need? And what principle will you replace it with? Share it below. Your words might inspire someone else reading the comments right now. And get ready, because the next rules will cut even deeper. They deal with what most people run from their entire lives. Fear and the If you miss them, you'll never have the strength to apply the last 2 rules that I'll share at the very end. Remember, every rule connects, every rule builds, and the ones I'm holding for you at the end, rules number 9 and number 10, are the ones no one has ever heard me share before. They are the reason I am who I am today. So stay with me now. Listen closely, because the next 2 rules will determine whether you rise when life throws its hardest storms, or whether you break under the weight of fear and uncertainty. If you miss this, the rest of your journey will collapse. Rule number 6. Confront fear before it confronts you. Here's the truth. Fear does not knock on your door politely. It breaks in when you are unprepared. Most people wait until fear is already standing in front of them before they decide how to respond. And that's why they freeze, why they panic, why they run. But here's what very few people realize. Fear is predictable. It disguises itself in patterns. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. If you can spot it early, you can disarm it before it takes control. Let me ask you something, and I want you to type your answer in the comments. What fear has followed you the longest? Is it fear of failing, fear of being alone, fear of starting too late? Write it below. You might discover someone else here is fighting the very same battle. If you are ready to take fear by the throat and not let it dictate your life any longer, type the word brave in the comments right now. Because here's the warning. The fear you ignore today will become the chain that holds you tomorrow. And those chains only get heavier with time. But the moment you name your fear, when you drag it into the light, you weaken it. That is where courage is born. Rule number 7. Step into the unknown before it becomes regret. Now this one is where most people lose the race. People believe that the unknown is dangerous. They think, what if I step out and it all falls apart? But let me tell you something. Most people will never hear in their lifetime. The unknown is not the enemy. It is the birthplace of every great breakthrough. Every invention, every miracle, every turning point in history came from someone who was willing to step into the unknown before it made sense. Let me ask you, what is the one thing you've been postponing because the outcome is uncertain? A new skill, a conversation you've been avoiding, a leap of faith you keep putting off. Write it in the comments. And if you are ready to step out,
type the word leap below. Because here's the warning: if you delay too long, the unknown hardens into regret. And regret is a weight heavier than fear. This is exactly why your 31-day daily high-impact planner is so powerful. Use it to confront fear in small steps. Every single day, write down one thing that intimidates you and one step you can take toward it. Imagine what happens after. You will not only have faced 31 fears, but you will have built a muscle most people never develop in a lifetime. Now pause for a moment and feel this. If you learn to confront fear early, and if you dare to step into the unknown before it turns into regret, imagine how unstoppable you become when the final rules are revealed. But here's the truth: without the final two rules, even courage and boldness will eventually fail you. Because there are two forces left, two secrets that determine whether your life ends in fulfillment or emptiness. And they are rules no one has ever told you before. I am going to share them with you, but only when the time is right. Stay with me, because what comes next will not just challenge you, it will transform you. This next rule is the silent divider between those who rise above life's noise and those who drown in it. If you miss this, it won't matter how much talent, how much courage, or how much discipline you build, because this one mistake can undo it all. Rule number 8. Protect your energy as if your life depends on it. Let me tell you something most people never hear until it's too late. Your energy is your greatest currency. Once it's gone, no amount of money, no amount of influence, no amount of opportunity can buy it back. Think about it. How many people do you know who are constantly exhausted, drained, burned out, yet still chasing more? They have goals, they have dreams, but their energy is scattered in 100 directions. And because of that, their breakthrough never comes. Now pause for a second. I want to ask you directly, who or what is draining your energy the most right now? Is it a person, a habit, a routine that no longer serves you? Drop it in the comments. And if you agree that energy is the true wealth of life, type the word guard below. Because the moment you decide to guard it, you begin to reclaim your power. Here's the warning: if you don't learn to protect your energy, someone else will spend it for you. They'll distract you, drain you, and before you realize it, you'll be left with regret instead of result. But the moment you take ownership, when you cut off the drains, when you choose what fuels you, you begin to operate at a level most people never touch. There are practical ways to restore and protect your energy every single day, but I will not give them all away now. Because the truth is, most people won't even take the first step unless they feel the urgency. And right now I want you to feel it. Your energy is either building your future or destroying it. So let me ask you, what is one daily choice you can start changing immediately to protect your energy? Write it down in your planner and share it with us in the comments. It might inspire someone else here to finally take back control. This is exactly why I keep reminding you about the 31-day daily high-impact planner. Do you see now how vital it is? Each page gives you a simple way to track where your energy is going and what's draining it. Imagine looking back after 31 days and realizing you've not only saved your energy, you've multiplied it. That is how breakthroughs are born. But here's the critical part: protecting your energy is only the setup, because even if you master this, you still need the final two. Without them, everything collapses. And I'll tell you this: rules number 9 and number 10 are non-negotiable. They are the most powerful secrets I've ever learned. Truths no one talks about, but the few who live by them change their lives forever. Stay close, because once you hear them, you will never look at your life the same way again. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to share are the 2 most powerful secrets I've ever discovered. Secrets the top 1% guard fiercely. Secrets no one talks about in public, yet they quietly shape the destiny of those who live by them. If you miss these, you risk building your entire life on shaky ground. Rule number 9. Master the hidden power of silence. This is not the silence of weakness. It's not avoidance. It is the silence of strategy. The top 1% understand something most people never will. Silence creates space for clarity, and clarity is where power lives. While everyone else is rushing to speak, to argue, to defend themselves, the wise step back. They let silence do the work, because silence unsettles the unprepared. Here's a question I want you to answer in the comments. When was the last time you stayed silent, and that silence told the truth louder than words could? And if you agree that silence is power, Type the word silent strength in the comments right now. Here's the warning. If you do not master silence, you will always be controlled by noise. You will be provoked, distracted, manipulated. But when you embrace the right kind of silence, you begin to see what others miss. And that is when you gain an advantage most people never experience. Rule number 10. Align with your unshakable core. This is the rarest secret of all. Very few ever reach it, because while most people spend their lives chasing goals, wealth, approval, or applause, the top 1% do something different. They anchor everything to their unshakable core. Your core is not about what you do, it's about who you are. When everything else is stripped away, when storms come, when people leave, when opportunities disappear, your core remains, and if you've never found it, life will feel like a house built on sand. So let me ask you, what do you believe about yourself that no one can take away? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you're ready to live from your unshakable core, type the word anchored below. This is why I keep urging you to use the 31-day daily high-impact plan. Each day, write one line about what grounds you, what centers you, what cannot be taken from you. After 31 days, you won't just know your core, you will be living it. That is how you become unshakable. Now you know some of my deepest secrets, but not all, because there are truths I haven't revealed yet. Truths even rarer, even more life-changing, that very few have ever heard. And in the next video I'll uncover them for you. So here's what I need you to do. Tell me the rules you already live by, and the ones you'll pick from what I share. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the bell notification icon, because you cannot afford to miss what's coming next. Your silence is your power, and your core is your foundation. But what I will share next will shake everything you thought you knew about success, resilience, and destiny. Stay ready, because your breakthrough is closer than you think. Check my playlist for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.